And we are live. I know we are live because I got this big box right over my face that says you are live. This is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches. I would like to thank you for joining me. Shortly, I will not invite Clyde. I will summon Clyde. And I will summon him with the powers vested in me by the mug. Now, I'm going to explain the mug to you good people in a moment because a couple of you people might be new. I'd like to thank you for joining me. I appreciate this. So, Clyde is he's the rancher. He's a lawyer. He's in Oklahoma City. If you intend to commit a felony anywhere, I would do it in Oklahoma City because then you can have Clyde on your side. And a few years ago, we'll ask him in a couple minutes. Clyde sent me this mug. Now, if you look really closely, it's a Cardinals mug, but the face of the Cardinal is in fact our own Clyde Anderson, the rancher. Really artistically done. I think we're going to have to find out much more about how this mug was created, how it was made. On the back, it says Minotaur Wrangling. It's not just a matter of money. It's a passion, which of course comes from the Jewelers on Time. But we're waiting for Clyde right now. And I know what Clyde is waiting for. He's like the genie who, if you rub the bottle, Clyde has to give you 3 wishes. So look, Clyde, I'm going to rub a bottle. Let's see if that brings Clyde. You know, I do have a cup of coffee here with a mug. I'm going to rub the mug. Give it a minute. Maybe Clyde will show up. No Clyde. I wonder if it's something special about this mug. Apparently it's... Huh? Oh, hello. Clyde, did I wake you up?
Yeah, I just literally got home. I was taking a nap.
You know, you remind me a little bit of Barbara Eden in I Dream of Jeannie. All I have to do is rub the... You know, back in '68, everybody wanted... You know,
and if I turned my camera on, you'd be able to see my belly button.
Everybody wanted to get into her pants. I'm sure your belly button looks every bit as nice as Barbara Eden's belly button in '69 or whatever year, '72, whatever that was. Anyway, Clyde, thank you for joining me on the broadcast. We've got a bunch of punters in the room here with us, and we even know some of them. We've got Hisham Habib. Hisham, why don't we go ahead and send Hisham the link? Clyde, I wonder if you could be so kind as to organize that for me.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, why don't you just put it over to the Cardinals WhatsApp chat, and that way Ron the Shrink, who's also in the Ron the Shrink, and Blue Shirt Buddha. Thank you all. You're all, you know, this group is welcome. So see what you can do here. Val and Gray Moon with us. Yankee Doodle. Thank you guys for being with us. So we're going to talk. Ron is complaining that Ron the Shrink is complaining that we're doing boomer references because, you know, Clyde, I don't think you're technically a baby boomer, are you?
No, I'm the very beginning of Generation X,
which is like, you know, like a lost, wasted generation. I think you're older than that, you know, like spiritually. So and you know all the references, but really there's a reason for that. In fact, actually, I really think you are spiritually a boomer because everything hits Oklahoma 10 or 15 years late, you know? So I Dream of Jeannie.
I was going to say 20, but that's a problem. I'll take that.
So, I mean, I Dream of Jeannie was over by like 71 everywhere else, but I don't even think it reached Oklahoma until like 1980.
Pretty much, it was still on.
So I believe
I Dream of Jeannie, Green Acres, the Beverly Hills.
Green Acres was the place for me. How did the Beverly Hills? The Beverly Hills.
Listen to the story
about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food. Up from the ground come a bubbling crude. All that is. Well, anyway.
Black gold.
Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire.
Can't move away from there. California is the place
you ought to be.
So they
So
loaded
up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills.
That is.
Swimming pool, movie stars.
And then Lester Scruggs goes into the banjo hard.
Right now, because speaking of going into the banjo hard, who was your favorite character on that show?
Ellie Mae, of course. Well, no.
Well, okay, I'll grant you that. Well, you were going to say, were you going to correct yourself? No, not Ellie Mae.
I was going to say Granny made me think.
Granny.
Yeah.
Jed. What in tarnation? Yeah, it was definitely great.
Varmints. I still call it varmints.
Okay, guys. So, Clyde, listen. Here's the format for what's going to happen tonight. And guys, I'm going to need a little help from the studio audience, and here's the help I'm going to need. Clyde, you really want a rebel stream, don't you? Don't deny it, Clyde.
Let me do it this way.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, guys, rebel streaming is when a member of the Archie inner circle streams live while Archie is also streaming, draining away the audience and theoretically super chats from Archie. That is called rebel streaming. Now,
well, actually, I prefer to think of it as Rebel Wilson streaming. As Archie is based in Australia, so it's technically Rebel Wilson streaming.
Okay. Well, anyway, how's it go? When you I don't remember what that protest song, what the whistle is, but at any rate, long story short, this is not a rebel stream. Okay, so
no, you hold your entire hand out at a 45-degree angle.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Clyde,
No.
Yeah. I know what you're doing. You're terrible. You've been talking to Jin too much.
Well, he didn't lie himself.
Listen, 7/8 of me resents that. But what I want to tell you guys is I'm going to need a little help from the audience, from the punters. When Archie comes live, don't. When I've muted him. When Archie comes live, he's unmuted himself. I'm gonna mute him again. When Archie comes live,
stitches, bitches.
When Archie comes live, I'm going to need you guys to tell me in the comments so that we can wrap up here, and then I can go up here on Archie and I can pull out the mug and I can rub it again.
Or you could not.
Well, I could not, but I probably will. Blue Shirt Buddha, welcome to the live stream.
Thank you, Mark. Hey, Clyde.
Hey, me and Mark are going to go get a cup of coffee. We'll be back in 20 minutes.
He thinks we're kidding, Clyde.
Wouldn't be the first time, and I guess it won't be the last.
No.
Is this an official Rebel Wilson stream?
No. Were you not?
No. The thing is, technically, it would be easier to Rebel stream if we knew what time he was going to do it, if we put up advance notice. Right. But as we know, he could be doing here in Central States flyover time. He could start at 5. He could start at 4:30. He might start at 7:30. So therefore, since I think Mark flew his banner first.
Well, that's the thing. We never really know what Archie's going to do. But Archie he's like a free spirit. He's like he's like
a child.
No, Clyde. He's like an elf.
Does Archie even know what Archie's going to do? I don't think so.
No. Archie's like a leprechaun. Do we really want to, like stuff him into a time slot, or do we just want to go with the flow? Don't you think we just go with it, guys?
I think Mark, I think you're right. Archie is a leper.
I mean, honestly, do Minotaurs even have a sense of time?
Good.
Well, that's why they need 6 or 7 Patek Philippe's.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like a Minotaur knows time only by his 7-chambered stomach. So, when that begins to rumble, he'll have an idea of what time it is. Or when his liver begins to tumble because, he's thirsty. Okay, enough about that. Somebody alert me as to when Archie comes on so that we can jump off. I'm going to jump over there to Archie, and then I will rub the mug and make Clyde join me. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll keep checking.
So, Clyde, what's going on? What are you going to do? What are you going to buy? What have you heard? Never mind. It's okay. Fine. Look, here, let me throw up a topic that I've been thinking about. And I did a stream earlier today where I talked about how to buy Rolex cheap, or at least how I do. Oh, quick fist watch check. I'm wearing a Rolex Submariner. I bought this for $8,500 full set and fairly recently. And I told the story in the video that posted up earlier today. So y'all might want to have a look at that later. But I kind of opened the stream by talking about watch exhaustion. Watch exhaustion. And I'm just going to kind of tell you what that means to me. And then we can talk about it here and also in the comments and see what the punters think of it. But watch collecting has its good side. There's this community of wonderful weirdos, 3 of whom are on your screen before you now, and approximately 75 of the others of you are in the chat room right now. Wonderful, dysfunctional, intelligent, completely OCD-ridden, crazy individuals, and we are united in our obsession about watches. But what I find is, if I'm not careful, watches go way beyond a pleasurable hobby, and they become a fixation. They just become an obsession, and I lose an incredible amount of mental energy and emotional well-being by overly focusing on what am I going to wear today? What am I going to do with the collection? How many watches can I cycle through in a day? Because it's not unusual for me to wear 3, 4, 5 watches in one day. Reset them religiously by the atomic clock, maybe 3 times per day. Shop eBay, look at Chrono 24, read the watch news. I mean, it is a sickness. And what I want to, and it begins to become exhausting to the point where I just become sick of the entire concept and hobby. I'm going to just reach over to my watch box and I want to show you what I used to sort of cure myself, or at least put myself into remission the other day. And I realized that I had such a terrible problem. Things were getting completely out of hand that I pulled out the Casio Royale. It's a $30 watch. It has 5 time zones, a backlight, an alarm, a stopwatch.
And a 10-year battery life.
Yeah, a 10-year battery life. Retail costs $30. I mean, with a super chat, Archie, with one super chat, Archie could buy one of these things.
Yep.
So, and I wore it day and night for 2 weeks. I didn't take it off. I put everything else away. Everything went into the safe. This was the only, and 2 weeks later, my mind was calm, much calmer.
Right.
And then I began to hear a song in the back of my head. Come to me. Come to me. Rolex, Rolex, Rolex. And I realized, mother chode, it's the Sirens song. I was hearing the same song that Odysseus heard as he was rounding the horn of, Africa, where the sirens were singing upon the rocks, enticing the sailors to crash upon the rocks, drown, and die. And I couldn't resist myself. I went and I got a Rolex, but I decided I am going to listen to the song, but only just. So I pulled out what I consider to be one of my most boring Rolexes, and I have not taken it off in 4 or 5 days. And
nice.
Yeah,
you get a 15-minute warning to the Pontiff.
Perfect. Well, that's probably
7:30 Eastern.
That probably means like 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So Blue Shirt, since
yes, sir.
Tell me, watch exhaustion. Is that a thing? And is that just me, or does that affect
you
as well?
Oh, absolutely. It affects me.
How does it manifest itself?
I don't know. You just get overwhelmed and inundated with looking at websites and reading articles, and it just gets too much sometimes, and then you just need to step back and just relax. And
how do you do that? For me, I found it was putting everything away and just pulling out one watch and going with that and that alone.
I mean, I have that watch too, and I use that as my backup reserve emergency watch. I keep it in my glove compartment, but I'll throw on.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Hey, what's up, Hisham? How are you?
Hisham, how are you? It's hot. Life is hot.
I'm good, man.
Well, let's let Blue Shirt just finish that thought, and then we're going to welcome Hisham.
Yeah,
sure.
I'll throw on a G-Shock for a little while. I'll throw on my Q Timex for a little while, and then, like you said, Mark, I'll wear that for a day or two, and then my mind will clear, and then I'm ready to get back into the hobby.
It's exactly the same for me, although that Q Timex will pull a hair and then I'll throw it back in the safe for 6 months. I want to love it, but I can't. Hisham, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you, Mark. I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Hisham, do you ever just become exhausted by thinking about watches and wish that you did not have this affliction at all?
Absolutely. I'm thinking about it right now.
So what's going through your mind? Tell me, why are you there? What's happening? What makes you feel this way? And what are you thinking to do in order to go into remission, or how can we cure you?
It's mostly about Rolex, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
When I get up in the morning, get dressed, and somehow, I just don't know which watch to wear. And I do change watches sometimes in the day when I'm going out in the evening, pre-corona, this is. But it's just a pain in the ass, honestly. I mean, it keeps bugging me. I have many thoughts about, no, this one, maybe this would look good. Maybe this would look good. It keeps, it takes up a lot of your time, basically.
And I know periodically, Hisham, you'll text me and say, should I get this watch? I'm thinking about this watch. And I tell you, but then you worry that you're going to feel guilty,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because you have too many.
Like for the Pepsi recently.
Yeah. Because the AD offered you a Pepsi and you were thinking about taking it, but then the thought of taking it made you feel guilty because you weren't sure you really wanted it, and spending the money when you weren't sure just seemed like wrong, right?
Exactly. And I mean, all these watches are, they cost money, and spending that kind of money on a watch when you're not sure about it, it doesn't make sense, honestly.
Now, I got to real quick talking about the Casio Royale. It holds 5 time zones. So I've programmed one of my time zones, time zone 4. I've programmed for Hisham. And where I am right now in the Midwest Central Time, it is, 6:17 p.m. or so. And apparently, Hisham, where you are, it's 4:47 a.m. Hisham's in this weird time zone where it's like not an hour difference. It's like a 30-minute difference from the rest of most of the rest of the world. So it's 4:47 a.m. Hisham. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Not even 5 up like 10 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
And
You're a trooper,
you guys
Hisham.
were on, and I thought, why not join in?
Now, Clyde, first of all, let's make sure that Clyde's not, snoring. Clyde, are you with us?
Yeah.
Are you eating, Clyde? Did I catch you in the middle of a snack?
No.
Doc BBC Bagnanza.
Well, there's a Bagnanza from Doc.
Does that mean it's time to go?
No, not yet. I don't think.
He has to come on first.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Exactly. Because you never know when he's really going to. Hisham, do you ever feel guilty about feeling exhausted?
I'm actually not exhausted. Initially, I kind of made up for the sleep, and yeah, I'm okay.
So thank you, Doc. Clyde, watch exhaustion. Now, I think the only form of watch exhaustion that I've ever heard you actually, because Clyde, I feel like you're immune from this. I feel like you're immune, with the one exception that you sometimes do get guilty or exhausted digging up graves so that you could steal the watches out of the coffin. But that's the only form of watch exhaustion I've ever heard you express, was physical exhaustion from grave robbing. Do I have that about right? Are you immune?
No. To be honest, especially right now with the whole pandemic and everything else, it doesn't seem to be quite as important as it used to be.
Well, it was stupid then, and it's even stupider now when we're facing matters of constant life or death. But are you just trying to make us feel bad now, Clyde, by telling us you're the only one with a social conscience and the rest of us you're thinking about humanity while we're thinking about Rolex? Is that what?
I'm thinking about my own ass surviving.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. And I'll tell you how I know what you mean. When I was in the midst, guys, this is my new book that will be coming out in October. Pre-order now, The Art of Training Your Dog. And I spent about 18 months with my co-author conceiving of it, writing it, photographing it and stuff. So, it was such an incredible amount of labor that I feel like I wrote the thing in my own blood. Like I opened my vein, filled an inkwell, and then wrote the book with a quill from that. All right. And while I was obsessively...
We gave you some tips as well, Mark. Come on.
Did you? What was your tip?
We did.
Like what?
We did. Come on.
Did you? About dogs?
Yeah, I've had dogs. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I couldn't have done it without you, Hisham.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
But I will tell you something. My brain was obsessive. Like all my watch obsession went into my book obsession because I was just writing 80,000 words in just a few months. And so I stopped worrying about watches. I stopped thinking about watches. I quit making videos about watches. And then once the book was put to bed, the watch obsession resurged because I have the energy for it. And then COVID hit. And then you're right, Clyde. I think the watch obsession ebbed because my mind was going more about survival and the dealing with the new reality of the day.
Well, and sometimes, admittedly, it's the relief I get is when I go into another obsession, like messing with Vintonnier, or lately it's coffee and espresso equipment.
Now we should point out that Vintonnier is your car,
right?
Your little yellow convertible that you like to be inside. And yes, Clyde and I have so much in common. I have like 4, 5, 6 different kind of coffee machines. And over my lifetime, I've probably had 20. I'm fascinated by them. I only use the Keurig. I don't use any of these damn things. I'll buy them and use them once. And then I always end up going back to the Keurig. But I do have a fascination for equipment that makes coffee. And Clyde's got the exact same thing. And so Clyde, you just recently purchased like a couple or a few different coffee making sort of apparatus, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually have.
And you even bought a machine to distill your own water.
Well, and here's what sucks about that one. I was getting ready to use it, and they're like, "No, do not use distilled water." I'm like,
not in coffee. You want some mineral content in your water for coffee and distilled water.
Yeah, you don't want distilled water. You don't want heavily filtered water. You want soft water.
Guys, distilled water is basically H2O, and that's all that's in it is H2NO. Whereas water that you drinking water, it's got magnesium and calcium and sodium and all sorts of elements in it that give it flavor. And not only that, which comprise electrolytes that keep your body electrically charged and working. So if you were to drink only distilled water, you would actually die of something. I don't think it would quite be thirst, but I think you'd have an electrolyte deficit and your heart would stop beating, your brain would stop working, basically would die. So, so Clyde, I think maybe the only really interesting thing about your distilled water machine is if you play your cards right, you could drink your own urine. You could literally recycle your own urine.
Actually, I have been drinking it because not my own urine, no, distilled water.
Urine. Oh.
Well, you know what? I think Hisham, you need to address this because I know that you're British. But living in India all your life, and Mahatma Gandhi used to drink his first morning urine every day as a health measure. Can you please address this?
That is true. That is true. But I can't address why he drank his own urine, for God's sake.
You never tried it?
No.
I mean, okay. Well, Clyde, don't drink too much distilled water because it deprives you of needed electrolytes. Basically, it's fine to have a shot of it now and again, but don't use that for hydration or you will die, sir. But anyway,
you've got a good question here by Vlad. He says, Mark, did you come across of any dogs with COVID?
Well, I haven't. And in the literature, there's really only news of one dog that was diagnosed with COVID. It was a pug, and he subsequently died. Now
that's because Mark is a dog trainer, as we know. So he teaches all his dogs to wash their paws if they come in from outside.
And they're wearing their little masks, So no, I have not. Thankfully, I have not come across or heard of anybody who had a dog with COVID. I don't know how they diagnosed that pug. Why there's only one. I will say, I do pay attention to the news and the guidelines and so forth. And I'm doing no contact drop-offs and then social distancing, very low contact pickups with my clients. I'm doing a lot of my follow-up lessons and my conferences and consultations with my clients by Zoom more and more. And in fact, that has led me to start training dogs by Zoom that live hundreds and thousands of miles from where I do. And I find that it's quite effective. I actually can assist a client to train their dogs. If any of you suckers have a dog anywhere in the world that you need to train, I can teach you very specifically, highly targeted to help you. Yeah. highly targeted lessons I can help you with. Doc BBC, drinking urine makes you appreciate not drinking it. But Gandhi did it every day. And I believe first morning urine.
True. I didn't read that.
Well, Google that. I'm pretty sure. I think that's that is a it's also partly a religious cultural practice.
It is. With the Hindus, it is. But,
So, well, we all have our cultural stuff. What they say now, here's another weird factoid that I've accumulated in my life, and that is theoretically, there's actually nothing unhealthy about drinking urine because urine is sterile. However, it is recommended that you not drink your urine more than 3 times in a row. Like if you're out in the desert with nothing to drink, and you need to drink something, well, you can drink your urine, which is nice to know. But don't drink it that 3rd time, because at that point, the toxins become much more concentrated in the pee. So we got to stop. We got to left turn. We got to turn away from this.
Back were talking the truck up.
Thank you. Work with me, not against me. So Clyde, watch exhaustion. Your fixations tend to go in watches, but then sometimes in other things, is what you were saying.
Right. And to be honest, last time I counted, I only have 2 wrists.
Isn't it a shame that we can't double up? I mean, I really want to pull a Fidel Castro and wander around with 2 watches on one hand.
Only Fidel has the rights.
Or what about a Norman Schwarzkopf, where you have a watch on each hand?
I'm gonna do it right now, but do you know who does that? Okay, and I'll be honest with you, it just annoys the living bejesus out of me. But do you know somebody, a YouTube guy who does this?
Who?
Mark from Long Island Watches. He does this, and it just upsets me. Actually, he's usually wearing double shitters.
No, I can understand wearing an Apple Watch on the right hand.
Well, there have been times I've worn the Apple Watch on the right hand.
Yeah.
See, the Apple Watch is at least like a professional thing. Like Clyde, you're in court. This way, you can know what notifications and texts you have without looking at your phone, which in court you cannot do because rude. And if you're rude to a judge, I assume you're in trouble.
Can be. Other judges are a lot more pragmatic about it because they realize, and some say unless you're a licensed member of the bar, I don't want to see your phone. Yeah.
But I think it's a matter of courtesy to the bench. And not only that, but most of us have notifications that get stupid from time to time. And therefore, you can get caught up in a little. So I really wish.
Well, Mark, you should silence your WhatsApp.
I do actually, okay. Paul, the Archie, I don't even remember what Clyde. Okay. Archie has a group for the punters. And it's the one where you got to pay like $25 or $30 and then you're in it.
You mean the head nipple support group?
Well, that's what it's called now. Okay. The problem
it's classic.
The problem is there's a few problems with that group. First of all, I don't even know how many people there are in it, but like at least 50. And so it's a very busy group, and it's Archie punters. Okay, so there is an incredible amount of porn. There's there's an incredible. So guys, if you like, right? So if you like Bob's and Vagine, you should go in that group because there's a lot of it. Now, I myself am neither a Bob's nor a Vagine kind of guy, okay, as is well known. And so there's just a repulsive amount of, female body parts in that stupid list. That's number one. Number two, it's like ding, 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 ding all day long. And so what I have done is I've muted it. Now, here's another problem. And then I just check in on it from, time to time. The other problem is Clyde. Then there's the Cardinals WhatsApp group. And, that used to be called Cardinals. It's had a million names. Now it's called the something. What's it called now, Clyde?
Simfest. Yeah.
No,
the Sausage Fest.
Horological
sausage.
Yeah.
Horological sausage fest.
Horological sausage feast.
Well, here's the problem. Clyde goes on to WhatsApp into both of these groups. and he changes the name of the group like every other day. And he does it purposely to confuse Archie, because Archie never knows which group he's talking to. And one time Archie got mad, and he goes and he put onto the WhatsApp, anybody effing changes the effing name of this effing group list again, I'm going to effing throw you the F out, because he just couldn't tell them apart. And then that's when Clyde named them both the same thing. That same day. What did you name them that day, Clyde?
No, you
did. You named them the same damn name that day, and I couldn't even tell them apart.
Or there have been times where I've named ours the Archie Luxury watch app, or Luxury WhatsApp app, and then I named his Cardinal.
Flipping them, so Archie never knows who he's talking to. He doesn't know how to post to his own group, and but I have figured this out. Okay, and the reason is that I have the Cardinals unmuted, and then the punters muted. And so now I don't even really look at the name of the group. I just look for the bell with the slash through it. That's the punters, and the one that isn't muted. Because but Clyde, you are impossible. You are.
It was great when you named it the TGV fan appreciation group.
Oh, and then he named it TGV > Archie. So right. TGV is better than Archie. It's just terrible stuff. Okay, well, would somebody tell me how we're doing? Is
still no Minotaur sighting?
Yeah. So then we're gonna.
I absolutely can't, Mark. I can't hear our friend Bruce here. I mean, is he talking?
I am now. You can't hear me?
Yeah, Blue Shirt is talking.
Blue Shirt.
Hisham.
Yeah.
You're saying you cannot hear Blue Shirt?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you probably came in on some browser other than Chrome. And what I find is Chrome is the only browser that seems to work nicely and play nicely with
I'm on Safari right now.
StreamYard. Yeah, Safari does not play well with StreamYard, and we are on StreamYard right now. So broadcasting into YouTube. So what I always do is I launch Chrome and I log in that way. So for the future, because otherwise it's always funky and there's almost no way to fix it. Well, that's us on exhaustion. We've all got it, and we all deal with it in slightly different ways. Now, I do have a question, Clyde, and that is, I would like you to tell me the origin of how this mug was developed. When was it developed? How long have I had it?
I can't tell you how long.
Who designed it?
Well, basically the same person that did the Archie Luxury Pontiff portrait.
Which one is that?
Well, it's him dressed. They Photoshop his head on an old Pope, roughly the same time.
Who did the? Who are we talking about? Who is this?
Oh yeah, it is. I'll have to look deep. It's been a few years back.
Oh, you mean it's lost in Archie Luxury lore?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And then the second one they did was of me, and that tickled. It's the first piece of fan art I ever got. Pretty decent. So I kind of figured I would just put it on a mug.
Okay. So you had this in some electronic form.
Right.
And then you decided, so did you go to Vista Press or like where?
Something along those lines. I can't even find the freaking email anymore.
Cafe. Okay. And how long ago was that?
2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And then you put the the Jewelers on Time. It's my passion. You put that on the back. You put that on the back. Now, at some point in our, I got to be honest with you, Clyde. I used to drink coffee out of this mug. This mug lived in my kitchen cabinet with all the other coffee cups. But then at some point, it sort of translated from just like traditional mug, that I didn't really have to, like, if I break this, I don't care. But at some point, this mug became endowed with special powers, much like the I Dream of Genie bottle that we were discussing at the beginning of this stream. And I'd like to know how and when that happened. How did this mug become a relic?
Let's step back for a second. The whole point of the mug was to screw with Archie from the very beginning. Because I must 12, 13, 14 or something along those lines. And literally I was giving them out. Other YouTubers have copies. And they actually put them, none of them drink coffee. They put it on a bookshelf or whatever. And the thing is, I was going to literally give them to everyone except Archie. But then I realized That's effing expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sent Archie a copy of Let Dogs Be Dogs, and I think just the postage was like $40 or $50 to get it there.
Yeah, and generally, like even $20 on the freaking mug, and that's hoping like hell
it didn't break.
Yeah.
Now at a certain point, though, that mug went from being just a mug, like a vessel for liquids, and it became some sort of like a holy relic. Well,
no, people always appreciated it from the very beginning, especially I don't know for the Cardinal photo, but it's just the jewelers on time, the old Archie folks know that, and so just mocking that and then using that to mock Archie.
So now at some point though, when
a double fisting,
I took Albert Frazio's motto and made it my own.
Now at a certain point, the rubbing of the mug became a method to summon you, which you found irresistible. Like, what happens when this mug is rubbed? What happened? Are you like summoned? Are you awakened? Do you hear voices in your head? Do you feel like this compulsion to touch the computer? Like you just can't stop yourself? Like, how does this work?
Well, how it works is basically severe Archie burnout, which Blue Shirt Buddha.
You're approaching.
Yeah. Because Archie will go on literally every day now.
Oh, yeah. Well, before we go on any further, Clyde, who can we blame for that? Whose idea was it for Archie to go on every freaking day?
That's totally my fault.
There you go. Thank you.
Well, and the thing is, I was saying, because I was bringing this up when we were all locked down, like February, March, we were all hunkered down.
Never thought it could go on this long.
Yeah. And I thought he'll get tired of it after a few months, like everything else. No.
No, there's money, Clyde.
Right. There's money coming in.
And then when I said you can just do it for 30 minutes a day and actually get money for less work, then his eyes lit up. I'm like, uh-oh.
Right. That's like saying that he would get tired of eating or drinking or smoking or, engaging in
or getting fisted by
lady boys. Right.
Engaging in relations with, luxury shoes, collecting Louis Vuitton steam engines. I mean, the man is just one quirk after another, but they all equal one thing: daily stupid chats. Daily. And I'm blaming you for this. So when this mug is rubbed, Clyde, you feel like an irresistible compulsion, even though you're thoroughly tired.
That is my way of protecting my sanity. So I quit. And so because Archie would have me on, if he wasn't quite so lazy, he'd be on like 3 hours a day or 3 times a day. So basically, I just invented the rules where, okay, I'm not going to come on unless someone else appears and rubs the mug.
Now, I always thought my mug was special and that it was the only mug that could summon you. But from what you just said,
there are more mugs.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So theoretically, any possessor of a mug. So this would be very much in line with the I Dream of Genie or the Genie bottle. Yep. And he who possesses the genie's bottle and rubs it shall receive 3 wishes.
And Dr. BBW actually summoned me one time. It's just that he does a lot of traveling around, so he'll because with his work schedule, because he has a jarb with Archie's random, erratic, so forth and so on. He can't be
Big Nanza.
Man Against Machine, $3. White dial in New Explorer 1, maybe. Oh, you mean
next year?
Yeah.
Next year,
not this year. I don't expect it this year either. This is a bit of guesswork, but I have not heard.
When did they update the Explorer 1? When did they come up with the 2.1?
2016. Oh, when they went to the 2.1?
Yeah.
That was 2010.
So roughly about the same date as the Submariner. So that is a possibility.
Maybe.
Because, and let's face it, the Mark II was just simply a Mark II. They just more or less, we'll put the right size hands on it because we finally ran out of the 36 millimeter Explorer hands.
I love my T-Rex hands.
Well, now thank you for the super chat, Man Against Machine. Mucho apreciado. So now, Clyde, who else has one of these mugs? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I live in fear of earthquake, or Tourette's, or spasms, epilepsy, anything like I feel like this thing needs to be protected like a holy relic. And I think basically I'm gonna get one of those tackle boxes with the foam cut out, and I believe this needs to not live on my desk. Oh, it used to live in my kitchen cabinet with all the other coffee cups, but that meant it went into the dishwasher. It got clinked against other cups. Somebody who came over, wanted a cup of coffee might go borrow this, and it really, really worried me. So now this thing resides on my desk, but I might need to take better steps to preserve it.
Bonanza.
Doc, BBC, Daily AC Beggin makes you appreciate not AC Beggin. Well, there is no not AC.
Yeah.
There is none. Doc, do you have your mug, and would you be willing to part with it for a not insignificant sum of money? Or would you at least promise that you secure it someplace where no earthquake can get to it? It's a precious relic. There are very few of these in the world. You either need to sell me this thing, and if so, then it's got to be wrapped up in like triple box.
No, because I know what you're going to do. You're going to give it to Archie. Damn your eyes.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. What a lovely concept that is. Holy cow.
You wouldn't consider making another run of those?
No.
Would you?
Have you told everyone about your new Clyde? Sorry. Have you told everyone about your new Submariner?
Hello, guys. I'm here.
I hear Archie. Guys, is Archie on now? I'm hearing Archie.
No, I think it went to last night's.
Yeah, no, not yet.
You bastards are lying to me. We're going to get. I know you're lying.
We have a Minotaur sighting. We have a Minotaur sighting.
No, he's not on, Mark. He's not on.
He's not?
Yeah, he is.
He's on.
He's on.
That's what I thought. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, watch obsessive, crazy people, watches and giggles. I feel like we are cheating on Archie tonight. We are, and watches and giggles. With that $2, I'm going to log out. I will feed the dogs, and I want to.
Now, if you super chat $20,
I'd like to thank you all for being here now.
30x.
And I've just muted I've muted him. We're gonna get off. Everybody, meet me over at the
$20 super chat.
Meet me over at Archie's.
20 equals
Thanks,
30.
Archie's.